Art is life. It's more than just creating art for art's sake. And on this edition, we're going to see some artists who are trying to make a difference with their art. Welcome to Art House. I'm Melinda Akinlami.
You don't make art, you find it.
Art will remain the most astonishing activity of mankind, born out of struggle between them and madness, between dream and reality in our mind.
When someone mentions the Niger Delta, what comes to your mind, I reckon, will be a whole lot of negatives. But these 5 photographers from the Niger Delta intend to change that with this traveling exhibition. Take a look. Circle of Encounter is an exhibition by 5 photographers. They use the images to share the Niger Delta experience. They can't deny that the negatives are there. They see it, they know it, live through it, so they feel it. It's seen in the damage done by gas flaring, oil pollution, and the poverty that stares them in the face in the midst of plenty.
What I was trying to do is to show contrast of how poverty is juxtaposed against wealth and prosperity. So you look at within just a limited space of land like this, you have a fence dividing the people on the other end of wealth from the other end of poverty. And the moment I got there, the first thing that entered my mind was, this is a borderline. Now, borderline, I began to look at it in terms of studying the environment. One of the things that came to my mind was the people on the other end of wealth and riches, which is where the multinationals, they would not come over to this other end, while the people on the end of the community, they cannot. So take note of the use of words that they would not and they cannot. They cannot cross over. So I stayed in this community and I was really heartbroken.
So they intend to use their pictures to right these wrongs.
A lot of things are wrong. They don't have access to water, access to education, access to health, but they live happily. And I'm like, we all live in the cities, we live in Lagos, some stay in Abuja, and we are happy that we are enjoying life this way. But what happens to some of those people? Some of us are from some of these villages.
That's why these photographers have brought the pictures to the city, so everyone can understand the pain some of these people are going through, which almost makes their future appear bleak. But within these walls, an irony abides. Placed side by side with these gloomy images is another side of the Niger Delta, from scintillating dance steps to festival, and with all the pollution, a beautiful glimpse of nature.
It's a royal dance of the Robo people. It's the most popular dance, one of the most popular dance of the Robo people of Delta states.
And I'm just portraying works that emphasize the nature of the true Niger Delta people. What it's like being in the Delta. When you're on the creeks, in a boat along the creeks, what you will find most of the times.
The Benin culture is something that growing up was this very mystical thing to it, that okay, if you go to the palace, people don't see the Oba. And when I started photography, I found out that all those were lies. You know, the Oba, in as much as it's not so approachable, but it's not a spirit the way people say. You know, and these are festivals that they do, and we hear about the real carnivals now, Calabar carnivals and all that, but during the Igwe festival, it's just maybe like palace chiefs and maybe just a few guests. So I'm trying to promote the culture that it's not what people think. There's nothing so mystical about it.
One that is less talked about or celebrated. And some of them have brought a twist to this tale.
A lot of people, when they hear of Niger Delta, really don't regard the Edos as Niger Delta, maybe because it's not really so rich in oil compared to like the rivers, the deltas and all that. So, and I'm one of the members of the group doing the exhibition, and I said, okay, I'd rather bring another dimension because everybody is doing creek life and all that. So let me bring another dimension which people really don't regard as Niger Delta. So that's how I'm doing the Benin thing.
You can see the beautiful cultural festivals we have, the beautiful history we have, the beautiful landscapes we have that nobody has ever bothered to look into. Because if you look at the Niger Delta image bank, or what you can see is images of oil production, oil spill, agitations, militancy, and then the question is that what these people know? Is that the only thing they are about? No. Before oil started, nobody knew these people to be people that are into violence. The first stigmatization was laziness. Now, militancy, violence, and stuff like that. So we are trying to use our work, photography as a tool, to rebrand, to rebuild the region.
So they try hard to stick to the positives.
Trying to portray the positive and natural ways of life from the Niger Delta region. That is just what I'm trying to portray to the rest of the world. We have all these beautiful things, but with split of these few years, there have been negative stories about the region, like militancy, oil spillage, a lot of problems here and there. But we said, or me particularly, I said, okay, let's come and see the positive side once more again, because it's been so dashed out that they don't want to hear anything positive about Niger Delta.
And have brought evidence, as pictures, they say, speak louder than words.
The idea about the exhibition is a group of artists based in the Niger Delta, using photography as an art tool to express their emotions. So I put up this group together to see how we can use our art to rebrand the region that is being stigmatized about all the illegalities, militancy, violence, and the rest, to showcase mostly the beauty of the environment, of the people, their lifestyle, and all that.
I do more of conceptual work and documentary photography. I try to contextualize the Niger Delta within, I would say, various presumptions or assumptions of things in the environment. And one of the things I tried to do was, I would say, use my camera to explain some mythical narratives that are usually not understood by most people. And most times, some of these things actually typify our fears. And for me, I've just discovered that you cannot fear something from a distance, which you don't really understand.
So they have brought evidence, pictures that prove that the grass is also green on that side.
Circles of encounter is the gathering that you see when you get into the Niger Delta, the things you encounter. Definitely you encounter bad, but that is the only thing people know about the Niger Delta. Nobody wants to talk or think about the beautiful part. So our own duty as a group is to encourage the good part.
We all cannot be writers to write books, take to newspapers, but with the aid of our cameras, we could say some things. I travel a lot for fun outside of my regular work. I don't do photography as a regular. Outside of my regular, I travel a lot around Nigeria, and I see a lot of things, and I'm really shocked. A lot of people, their whole understanding of Nigeria ends in the city. When I started studying about the Nigerian Civil War, I traveled all the way to Garkin. The village is nothing different from what I've done here. So sometimes you need to go to some of these places to understand and have a feel of how people live in these places.
Different things attract them to click their camera, and it takes a lot to get the right shot.
Thinking about the whole concept of Mami Water, when these images started flashing in my mind, and I had to immediately go hire a model, travel to the community, to do the shoot. Now, why the community? In the course of doing a little research, I discovered that the community actually had some kind of festival and celebrations that just look like the whole Mami Water attire and everything. So I said, okay, fine, if I'm in an environment like this where I can really talk to people and understand what I was doing, it will really help me visualize and do what I wanted to do. Now, also looking at it, one of the things I wanted to use the images to do was to challenge conventions in the way people think about things. Myth is a part of our life, especially as Africans. We really cannot take away some of those things. But for me, in a contemporary light, how would I use some of those things to be able to portray the things happening around us?
It's a bit unique because, like, from the images behind me, you can see everybody's on white and there's just one guy on red. So it's the contrast is something that got me thinking and was one of the reasons why I put up these images. Growing up, everything I used to know was documented by the white people per se. And I told myself that the Igbo man won't tell me about me. I think I would rather document where I live. And for prosperity and let maybe our kids and all that see, but we should do it ourselves. We shouldn't wait for the white people to come and tell us this is who we were or this is who we are.
Shots that they want to add to the history books.
It's art.